Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So this is Introduction to Computer Science. Okay, welcome those who are in the class or in online. So today you are going to give presentation. So before that, I will just show you several example of uh, project that I have done. Okay, just to show you that there is usefulness in the UML. So this is the example of project someone in the US. So I will not tell the who, my clients. Okay, so this is the requirement. So this is the project description. Can you see it? No? Okay, so this is the project description. Blah, 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 the web page, moments, and so on. Okay, so, and first you need to create what is called functional requirement, something like this. So what is the system, the terminology of the system, okay, and you create the UML diagrams, right, and then defining what is the possible events and so on and so forth, okay. So you need, for each of the use case, you need to tell what is the actual things the system is doing. Okay, so this is one example. I'll close this. Oops. So another example here. This is the, this is for my project in the government, right? No. Oh yeah, so I was the chief. And so this is for the National Statistical Board. Okay, so this is the government project dealing with the World Bank. So, so this is the project that they do every year, for example, and then this is the system that they have. So look at this. I created the, what is this? Use case diagram, right? And you see? So each of these are the role. Can you see? Each role have use case, what they can do. So for example, data gatherer can only enter that data, right? And then after that, the sector specialist can do a estimate, can do a reporting, right? And then consolidator can do reporting also, but the panel can do more than that. So these are the role, okay? Not the actual name of the person, but these are the role. And these are the use case that they can do. Okay, so and then these are the example of the UML diagram, state diagram, that what is the start and then what is the thing that we need to do in the program. Yeah. So what's the problems, and then this is the proposal, right? And then so these are called package diagram. This is the example of package diagram. So there is a package of input, yeah? There is a package of database, and this is package to estimate, for example, to report and so on. Okay, the same thing. So this is the new system. What we will do. So we have the role of user. Above that there is an admin. Okay, which also we have a designer. And then what the designer can do, and then we have also what is called extend in here, mean optional, or include, that mean one use case will include the other use case. Right? So this is an example of the system that you must do. What is this? Okay. So another, and from here, this is the report, right? Okay. So And then from there, we of course create the presentation. Yeah? Just copy and paste from the report, so you can create the system. So for example, this is the package. So inside that package, okay, you zoom in to create another use cases. Okay, so this is the subsystem, for example, and then you create another use cases. Can you see it or not? Yeah. So yes. Okay, so I will show you. You can download what is called Irfan View. Can you see this? Yeah, this is very simple and free program for Windows. Okay, and from here you can capture the image. So okay, there is an option to capture screenshot here. Okay, I'll give you example. So example, yeah, I open this Irfan View. Okay, and then I do this, right? And I will press certain key combination. Say it here. C, that means I will capture. Okay, so I can set up what is the capture here. I can set up one window or the certain desktop area or full desktop. Okay, so I just put this, and then you can put the hotkey. So for example, in my case, I use Control Q, and then I start. Okay, so now I can show this. I want to capture only this windows. Can you see it? And so I will press Control Q. Can you see I capture this? And then what I will do is I just drag this. Say I want to get only this picture, for example, and then I press Control Y and then Control C. Now I created a new here, yeah, new slide, right? And then I will put here that. Okay, easy. So if you have a so from there you can put it larger if you want, right, or smaller. If you don't want to make it blur, so the size must be the width and the height must be the same, so that will not become blur. See, for example, if I make it not the same, you see, it's ugly, right? Okay, so there is a software, freeware, basically you can just use this. Okay. Is this answer your question, Kenneth? Okay, so say I have a report of this, for example, say I have this report, right? So, and then I will close this and make it smaller, for example. I want to capture this, right? Okay, so again, I use the Irfan View, C, okay, then Control Q, I just cut this, like this, and Control Y, so then I just put it into new slide. There. Can you see it? Okay, then you can make it larger. So, okay, yeah. There is a software called Plan UML. So check in the web, Plan UML online. Okay, so there you can type your own code, and then it will create a diagram here, right? So say this one, plan text is better. This is based on plan UML. So you can, So you can create any diagram that you want, right? So for example, a component diagram, interface, what activity diagram, for example. Yeah, okay. So you just type, for example, this is Scanet activity diagram, right? So refresh. There, can you see? Right, become Scanet activity diagram. So you can just type, okay, in here, okay, and you look at the documentation of plan UML, how to make it. Once you finish, all you need to do is just screen capture and drag and cut and copy. Right? Easy. Or you can use Visio, just drag and drop. So it's not a big matter to do this. So for my case, I'm using Visio. Okay. So this is my other project. So you see here, I created a document. So for example, the use case, say reporting, okay, because this is very big, the project. So we need to create a number code, okay, so that the reader of this will be able to read, okay, and then we can separate this document into small parts, and then in parallel we can distribute to many programs. Do you understand? The design is important because with this design you can actually do it in parallel. Big project cannot just do it with one person. That's why you create the design first, okay, with clear documentation like this. So this is the name and the use case number, right? And then what is the main part, alternative, and then you see the interaction of it, example here. Can you see it? Okay. And then you explain one by one, okay, the detail. Okay. So this is just example. And from here, user Z, for example, will do this and that. So this is like the blueprint of the full project. Can you see it or not? Okay. From here, then you can start to delegate. Without this blueprint, only you can make the program, isn't it? Right? But once you make the blueprint, you have the ability to create working in the group, working in a team. Can you see the difference or not? Right? Once you make the design, documentation, so you start to spread, you have to delegate. Okay, you will do this. Okay? Okay? This is the interface that we will discuss about. So everything becomes clear. Otherwise, only one person will do the program and then someone else is just doing nothing. That is unfair, right? In the group project. But in the real project, of course, everyone is working, but they need to do it in parallel because of the time limitation, isn't it? Every project have a time limitation. So in that case, you need to do it really in parallel. And then the actual problem is later on is actually the combination, integration between several groups to combine that the program, one program and the other program must work together. Okay? The integration, that is the actual problem in the team. Do you understand what I'm talking or not? Okay. This is the real software development is like that. It's not just, okay, just create a small toy program and then finish. It's not, okay? It's like creating a real big building, tall building. That's why you need to create this design. In fact, there is a job it's called software engineer, software architect. They are not doing any programming, okay? they are doing design, only creating UML, creating the documentation. Okay, and the job of programming is actually usually the engineer, the software architect is in the US, and then the programmer usually in Vietnam, in India, in the Philippines, like that, in Indonesia. So they delegate, they outsource the programming job. Why they can do that? Because they know how to do this design. Okay, do you get it or not? So you know how important this one. Okay, even if you don't know how to program, at least you know how to design. At least you know how to make documentation, because at least you need to know how to create a requirement diagram, so that even if you are the business owner, you can communicate yourself what you want to others. Is that important or not? Right? Otherwise, you just say something today, tomorrow different things, and then the programmer get confused. You will never make anything. Right? So you really need to make this communication bridge. Even if you don't know how to program, okay, at least you need to know how to create a requirement, what you want to make. Correct or not? Okay, so this diagram is really important, because not just for those who know how to program, but it's really, this is the design of the system that you want to make. You got it? Okay. So with that, I close this and give you a chance to what? Present. So who will present first? Okay, Kenneth and Billy. I'm
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Oh, yes. Okay. Good morning to Mr. Cardi, and good afternoon to the others. Today we are going to present our project reports, but for products. For today's meeting, we are going to talk about our progress, our code explanation, showcasing our UML, and demonstrate the code.
Okay, so for the accomplishment of our code is around 45%. What's missing are first the publish feature. The second one is the filter feature. We will have like before they want to choose the recipe, to know the recipe, we will make a filter feature. For example, if they have allergy or if they are vegetarian, so they can filter it first and then use our program.
Can you tell the audience what is this about?
Oh yeah. So our program is like for people to help people to cook. So uh, they can know the the steps and the ingredients of the food by maybe they just want to know the list and then they can choose one, or they can choose the location first, like the provinces. They can choose like Jawa Timur and then they choose the food. And then the other way is to list the ingredients that they have at home, and then we will like show what foods that they can make with the ingredients that they input. So actually there are some features that we will make. We haven't make it yet. The first one is publish feature. Publish feature is it's so that the user is not only like get recipe and steps to make a food, but they can also publish their food. That is the publish feature, and we haven't made it yet. And then the second one is filter feature. Filter feature is so that when they want to search for a food, if they have allergy or if they are vegetarian, they can filter it first so that the food that they will get, like the recipe and the ingredients, is like for them, good for them. And then the third one, what does it mean with data? With data is like we want to list 30 recipe of foods, 30 foods from Java, but we only made 6 until now. Yes, so yeah, those are the things that are missing.
No, I don't want to know what is missing. I want to know what you ordered.
Alright.
Is that 45% wrong?
Okay, next. This is the good. So the makanan variable is to list the foods, the name of the foods. We list it the name of the food as string, and then for every food we make them as a variable too, and inside that variable there is like where does it come from, and what is the portion, what are the ingredients that are needed. Make it. And next, and then for the location, we list all the location too in the variable lokasi. And then for every location, every province, we also make them as a variable. And then they consist of the food that are available there. Available like for example, in Jawa Barat, the food that is available currently is only Nagasari, because we only list 5. And for the ingredients, we also list all the ingredients that are required to make the foods that we listed. Next. So the same for every ingredient, we make them as a variable, and for every ingredient, there are foods that this ingredient could make. Yeah. Next.
And then
So this is our program. So actually, yeah. So def cari makanan atau publish is so there is a welcome message there, and then the input is you can publish or get recipe. If then you can publish your recipe, but we haven't made it yet. If you choose to get a recipe, then you type makanan. If you type makanan, then we will the mau masak apa say function will work. Next. So this is the function mau masak apa say. So in this you can pick 3 for the input, which are bahan, makanan, or lokasi. For bahan is when you can type the ingredients that you have at home, so that we will list all the ingredients that are possible to make with your ingredients. And then you can choose one food for us to list like the steps and the ingredients that are needed. And for makanan, if the user types makanan, then we will show all the foods that are available that we have listed, and then they can choose one, and then we will make the steps to make it and the ingredients appear. And for lokasi, we will first for the lokasi, we will first show them all the provinces that are available, and then they can choose one province, And then in that province, there will be foods that are available there, and then they can choose it. Next. And we use while true because if they input wrong, there will be like print so that they can redo their input. Like for example, ketiknya salah nih saya. Next.
So this is our use case diagram. And if the line is long, then that means that the user it works. And if the line is short, it means that the system works. Like we choose publish or get receipt from the user to the choose publish or get receipt. The user is do that, and from the display errors, if extend, it's only sometimes happen. And then this is overall the steps that will happen at the docs. Next. I mean,
Darin, please wait for Kenneth to present it.
okay.
Okay, so I will explain. So at first, the user can choose the
Only one role, only user,
Yes.
no admin.
No. No. Only the system. Oh, so the user can first, like the very top one, they can choose publish or get recipe, and then if they input it wrong, they don't like type publish or get recipe, then we will display error. And then the next step, if they choose to publish, then they can publish, and then the new recipe will be added. If they choose to get the recipe, they can choose to filter the recipe first, which is like for allergy or vegetarian. If they don't want to filter the food first, then we will go to the next step, which they can they have three choices, which is lokasi, bahan, or makanan. For lokasi, down there, choose province. They can choose the province first, and then we will show all the foods that are available in that province. And then they can choose one. For the recipe, it means they don't want to search it by location or ingredients, but they just want to know what are the recipes that we have, and then we will print all the recipes that we have, and then they will choose one. And for the bahan down there, just ingredients. It means they can type their ingredients, and then we will show all the possible foods. And then the very last step there, print a recipe with all the steps and the ingredients.
So this is our UML class interaction diagram. The first step is from the user to the Batok apps. Like the user run Batoks, and then the Batoks asks to publish or get recipe, and then the user provide the answer, and the Batoks apps will ask to publish.
Is someone talking?
Same. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, cool.
After that, the user will input the receipt, and then the Batux app will store the receipt to the Batux storage. And this is the second one is the collaboration diagram when user wants to get a receipt. The first one is the user run Batux, and then the Batux will ask to publish or get receipt, and then the user will provide the answer, and the Batux will ask for any filter. After that, the user will provide answer, and then the Batux will check for the filter on the Batux storage. After that, the 7 is verify and give filter. After that, the 8th step is ask the method. The 9th step is provide answer. The 10th step is check the method. The 11 is verify and give method.
Yeah, I can read by yourself. But
Is
can you
last
can you explain what is more important there?
like this is the connection between the user, the Batux app, and the Batux storage.
So you have a storage, right? Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And then how do you create the storage? How
Yeah.
do you edit the storage? Who are able to edit the storage? Is user able to edit the storage, or only admin can able to edit the storage? Who can create the storage? So remember, when you create a system, okay, 4 things you need to remember this. Can you hear me? 4 things, okay? Number 1 is to create.
Yes.
Number 2 is to edit. Number 3 is to view. Number 4 is to delete. 4 things you need to remember this. Okay? These are the 4 functionality basic for any storage, for any data. Regardless whether you are in JSON, in database, whatever. You need to be able to create, edit, view, and delete. So the question is, who is able to create? Who is able to edit? Who is able to view? And who is able to delete? Right? So if you are putting only user, then that means the user is able to create, able is to delete. That is very, very dangerous system, because the user is able to create, then delete. Then everyone can hack this system. Correct or not? Right? So to protect that, the user can probably only edit. The user can only search. Right? But they cannot edit. They can send the bug, for example. Send requests probably. But they cannot delete. They cannot create. You are the content creator. Right? You are the one who can edit. Example. So those are the things that you need to put in the use case diagram. Okay? The error is inside that use case, because every use case must have error. Right? So you don't need to show that. That is already default. Okay? But now, I want to see those 4 functionality. Okay? Who, what is the role, can do this and can do that. So all of this functionality, I want to see. Can you do that? Can you revise this diagrams? And then, of course, based on the diagram that you make, okay, the program must change. Okay? You don't create the program first, you create the design first, right? Because these are the planning. After that, you create the program based on that design. Remember, I want to know, create, right? Edit, view, delete. You can add, search, for example. Okay, filter inside the search, right? Right? You don't put the filter inside the delete, right? Probably. So, who can delete? Who can edit? What is the role? Oh, they are user. So these are the one that you need to design. Is it okay? Cool.
If we are only adding it on maybe the first part, the 30 plus FA, and then after that user can input the data, are we still in the use case?
Yeah, you are the one who designed the system. Say, for example, Wikipedia. Yeah, allow the user to edit, right? Allow the user to delete, right? So, but at the same time, they have a backup system that there is a versioning, for example, so that every edit will be shown. So it's up to you to design your system. Okay? Say, for example, you allow the user to edit. That's okay. That how are you going to prevent the possible hacking? By creating that kind of design that is robust. Okay? That is the one that actually require thinking, not just to program. To program it's not the real matter in here. Especially your program, okay, have problem. What is the problem inside your program? Can you show the code, Billy? The code, the one that you showed a while ago, yes. The one that you just showed a while ago, Billy. Can we just this? Okay, everyone, please show this as an example, okay? Okay, this is an example, okay. I understand we are still in the beginning, but I will just tell you, inside the program, okay, if you really make a program, real program, this must not be typed this way. So the data must be in the file, okay? Either in database or in JSON or in text file, it's up to you. That is the one that you type. So the program will load from the file and then put it into this. This is the result of debugging. This is okay. Okay, not you type the program and then contain that kind of data. That is not okay. Why? Because your program like this is not generic. This is only for that data. Okay? And then you said, I have 30 data, as if you are so proud that you have 30 data. That is nothing. Okay? In fact, you don't talk about number of data because number of data is just one data is just one row. In fact, you will have million of data, not 30 million. Okay? Later on, you can add every time. Okay? The program will not depend on the data, but the data structure matter. Okay? Do you get it or not? How you will store your data, how you will load that data inside there, and then that program will read. And then don't name variable like makanan, okay? And then content of this cutoff and so on. Okay, this is in the beginning, that is fine, okay? Just this is for good version, first version, or version 0, this one. Okay, so just to keep understanding. But in the real program later, you don't do like this, yeah? Okay, so makanan should load directly from the list of makanan or get directly from the JSON data. Okay, and then in fact, the program does not know what is the load. It should be abstract enough. Okay? You should be the one that creating that data structure so that the program will understand this is the one that they load. That this is makanan. Okay, and then inside that ketoprak must be inside that makanan of ketoprak. So then you create a nested of the data, isn't it? Okay, so don't put the code and the data together at the same time. Okay, for practice this is okay. For beginning this is okay, but for the real program this is no, big no. Okay, not allow to have a program that contain data. The data must be separated from the program so that the program is a real program. Okay, that they will load the data and then showing. The program contain functionality only. Okay, the program does not contain data. The data is separate file. Is that clear or not? With that way, what is the benefit? You want to get the 30 data, you want to get million of data, it doesn't matter, the program is still the same, right? Whatever or not. The program is still the same, the number of data does not matter to the program. But by doing this way, that you are telling, oh, ketoprak is a content of this data, then the program really depending on the data. Okay, say gado-gado will have different variable. This is wrong. Okay, not the way to do a program this way. Everything must be abstracted in such a way so that the machine will be able to do generalization of the data. Is that clear? Is it clear or not? Next slide, Julie. And this is good example of the mistake. Yeah. Oh, see, like Jawa Barat, Jawa Timur is not the name of variable. That is the name of the data. So then the name of the variable is location. Right? So you don't put the name of the value of the data as variable. Is that clear? Learning experience, yeah. This is okay. In the beginning, this is good because you make it. That is nice. Okay. But at the same time, please improve. Okay. So bahan. Okay. So you don't put it this way because you will load that bahan from the list of table in the text file, for example, or in JSON file, for example. Okay. Did you get it or not? Next, what else? The next one. The same thing, right? So then you need to match, okay, between the name of the food and the province or the location and the material, right? So you put that together, how you will match. So you create that matching relationship between one structure and the other. Okay, then another data. That matching itself is another data. Is that okay? So I want to see in the next reporting, okay, you don't create a program like this, okay? So, and then the print like this. So the comment of the print, again, you put it into text file, don't print this way, so that the program does not contain data. Okay, the data must be separated, okay, that can load and then can show. Is that okay? Clear, yeah? This is not only for this group, yeah? For all also, all group must be that way, yeah? You remember, this is not just for this class, for any project that you make, okay? Try to think general, okay? Try to think reusable, something that can be reused, something that can be generic, okay? By putting the code and the data together, this is only creating trouble. Why? Because if I want to add new variable, new food, for example, in this case, right? then you need to create the whole code of that food. That is crazy. Huh? If you have 1 million of food, then you create 1 million of code. That's crazy. That is not the way to do, okay? Separate the data from the program. So the program must be generic enough to adopt for any kind of food, any kind of location, right? So then you can start to create the relationship between the food and the location and the materials and the ingredients. Is that okay? Okay. So this is good attempt. Not 45 really, still almost zero. Okay, work harder. Yeah, okay, please continue the presentation. Did not finish, I thought finished already. So what is this Badok?
This is
Badok is the whole system or just the user interface? What does this Badok mean? No, I don't see this. This is the whole system of the program, or actually just the user interface. That's why you have a storage there, right? It's not clear. This diagram is unclear. Right, so please revise. Okay. Oh, next, what else? Is that all, or you want to present? Oh, sorry, Darin.
there is still another one.
Oh, go.
This is the sequence diagram when
Hmm.
user wants to publish. The
This is unclear, Darin. The sequence diagram is unclear. This is like from the system of Badok, you can only store the recipe. So you input the recipe and it's the user that input the recipe, not the admin. And it is the user that actually also run the same. So this is confusing, right? Why the user is the one that store and then they are the one that run also? So this is what is the value in here? I mean, I can understand if someone provide a service and then the user receive the service. That I understand. But in here, you put the user run the things and then they are also the one that input the things. So what is this service about? Can you explain that? What is the business idea?
For these two diagrams, the first one is because you can publish or get recipe, right? Our idea before. So the upper one is when the user want to publish. So
Okay, so this is what when user want to publish.
yes, when someone wants to publish.
Okay, so the user is allowed to publish.
Yes.
So can you give me the where is that user can publish in the
The code.
use case?
Oh, in the use case, yeah, there is. But the use case.
That one.
Yeah.
That publish that one.
Publish and
So
then-
user can publish.
and
That
then-
is the one that you show while ago as an interaction.
yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I got it. So the user can publish.
Yes.
And then what is this? But at the same time, the user also get recipe. Why the user publish and then can get back the recipe? What is this system about?
So we want them to, so they can get a recipe to cook, right? But they can also, because this is about Japanese foods, they can cook Japanese food or they can add their own. Like if they have,
Maybe if they have some ideas for, like, for example, vegetarian, so or something, they can publish.
Okay, they can publish their own.
And the other people can also
search their,
for
Oh, okay. Can we separate that functionality? For example, member can publish, user can only view. Can we separate the role? Is it better to separate the name of the role? So, of course, member is user. That means you put the generalization arrow, right? Okay, member. So user can do all of this, and member can do more than the user. Is that okay? So you have two different roles, right? So in that case, things become clearer. Is that okay? So there is a user role that can only view, can view the view and search, for example, and then there is a member that can, of course, the member is a user, so they can view and roll, can view and search, but they can also input, for example. Right. Is that okay with that? So otherwise, it's really confusing, right? Okay, so next.
The last part is
Therein is,
the class diagram. Hello, sir.
yes, okay.
Can you go to the UML class diagram?
Huh? Cannot go what?
To the UML case diagram.
Case diagram.
For the class diagram, actually in our code, we haven't made the
Oh,
classes
the class
and the
diagram.
subclasses.
So you only create the class
Process.
diagram when you create a class. Are you going to create that class? Yes. Okay. How is okay? How I can teach you later? The class is just container. Okay. That for example, in this case, what is this? The class is co. I want to see the data that you put, okay, and then put it inside, and then how you, that related to that sequence diagram or related to that functionality in the class. Which is not so clear here. Why you need to have province as, I mean, it seems like you are confusing between data and class, right? Class is like an object that do something and have data inside, right? But in here is like the data itself. You see, you have food. What food can do? What is the food can do? What is the role of the food? What is the method of the food? Right, it is unclear in this case. So you need to have a role, okay, and then you need to have function, okay. Function means the verb, okay. Data mean noun in English. Okay, the class mean noun. The class itself is should be noun, not the cook. That is verb. The verb is a function. Inside is a method. Is that clear or not? So Madok is a noun, that is a system, right? So that inside Madok, what is the functionality in here? And what data they will input inside. Okay, so you can have several data. Is that okay? So I think you need to revise this one. Okay, next. Okay, I will close. Go, Kenneth.
Okay, so sorry for the unclear UML. Now we are going to what our code can do. First, run it, and then you can pilih publish or makanan. When you type publish, it will run the publish result. But we still haven't add it. And if you type mistype the name, it will error and go back to the first one, publish or makanan.
Okay. So,
and after that, if you choose makanan, it will run the mau makan apa say.
Okay.
You can choose between bahan, makanan, and lokasi. If you might mistype it here, it will generate error code and go back to the mau masak apa say.
Okay, so this is nice. Okay, so your program works. Can you improve it? That
Hopefully.
yes. I mean the same thing, but the improvement is inside. Outside is the same. Okay, but outside is the same, but inside must be changed. Meaning that now you need to separate the data from the program. Okay. You need to separate the data from the program. You need to separate the comment, that wording here, from the program, not inside the program, but outside. That means you separate file. Okay. That means if you want to change that wording there, you simply make a text file and then upload it, right? And then it will change everything. So the program will not change. The program will not change because the data change. That is very important principle here. You got it? Don't mix up between the data and the program. If the data change, the program should not change. Okay? That's why you need to design it first. Is that clear? Okay? Good, good. So this is good attempt. Okay? So, yeah.
Okay, so after this, you can choose bahan, makanan, or lokasi. For example, if you type lokasi.
Why don't you just put number rather than typing like that?
That's what I think, but it's still prototype.
Huh?
I'm thinking of simpler number or
Yeah,
alphabet to type, but
okay, next time I will teach you how to do a GUI, graphical user interface, rather than this. Right? So that you will not every time typing like this. But anyway, this is okay. So at this point, it's fine.
So you can type, for example, DKI_Jakarta.
Yeah, if wrong,
and it will show
only
the
two.
recipe only two for now. And if you type, for example, gudeg, it's in the in the Badoks, but it's not in Jakarta. It will still show the recipe. However, it will input masakanmu tidak berasal dari provinsi yang kamu pilih. Next.
We want to see this.
What?
Can you send the same code to other group? Say to the girls, and then can they actually do what you're doing?
Okay.
Meaning they don't have the experience of using your program, right? And then the other group is trying to make, and then if they are frustrated in using your program, or actually they feel that this is okay. Okay, user experience, XP. Yeah. So that they can also give comments, right? Okay. Okay. Oh, next. Who will present next? Yeah. Thank you, Kenneth. Very good.
We will present. Oh, you first.
Oh no, no need to all groups. No. Yeah. One group is fine, so that they will try only, huh? Okay, so go. Sorry, it's okay if you cannot do it today. We can make a presentation next meeting. No, question is not wrong or right. Okay, question is, did you learn something or not? Right? Through this interaction, I hope you learn something. This is more important than just, oh, my presentation is wrong. There is no right and wrong. Even if you are wrong, you get 100. Don't worry about it. As long as you submit it, you get 100. Okay? Okay. So you don't worry about the grading. Okay? I'm very generous. Okay? Go. No, you. Huh? Yes, please. Sorry.
Good morning, Mr. O.
Okay. I will stop myself. Sorry. Go.
Good morning, Mr. Kardi and everyone.
Good afternoon.
Oh yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Kardi and everyone. This is a smart IO machine learning software. Have you ever heard problem determine where a transaction is liquidation or not? So my name is Antonio Leonardo and my partner is Christopher Matthew Susanto. And we finally figured out way to help you. Smart IO is a price of software that automatically determine where a transaction is found or a legitimate transaction. Now we will talk about the software prototype we have already built. First and foremost, we will discuss your UML diagram. But before that, as you can see, this is your software structure. This is a software structure. The way it works is there are two package network and generator model. The goal of generator model is to create a machine learning model of vector learning regression, which we'll go over in more detail later. And the goal of network is to utilize that model to make precision and direct display to result to the user. And all of this will be run in the main.py file. This is a UML class diagram.
Okay.
This is my UML class. The name of the class is
Ningful, sorry to interrupt you. Can you start with the requirement first?
start with?
The use case, the requirement first, because that is the most important part there.
Okay, sir.
Suddenly go to model get confused.
is-
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's go start with YAML use case diagram. Let's see this use case diagram. The client or user that enter
Put input and show input.
which has already gone through the PIC dimensional reduction process, and the data will be processed before being transferred to the generator model. With the learning engine practice where there are any fake transaction or found.
Okay.
The forecast data will the best show to the customer for the use case.
Wait a minute. So can I ask a question? Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
So only one actor.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose of this? What is the business model?
The client is like a bank.
Okay, the client is a bank,
Yeah.
and then
Bank input the the client is bank. There is input the data for the customer.
okay, I don't mind with that. So you created just a subsystem of the whole system. That is fine. Okay, so I want to see what is the whole system first, so that I can see this is what your role.
So what, sir? Can you?
Can you show me the overall picture of the system, and then this is part of it is your role? That is fine.
Oh, we haven't made to the whole system, sir.
Okay.
We just create the documentation for now.
Okay. So
It's okay,
next
sir.
time.
Oh, okay.
What is this? Is it possible to make
Oh.
it bigger? Okay.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Sorry. So you have a user data model. Okay.
So
Or it's just sequential.
the diagram will look like this. Currently, the user will enter data. Data has been reduced using the PIC demonstrably. The data will be processed before being transferred to the grid model. The general model will be predict whether there are any found transaction in the user data. The result will be transferred to the output, and the user will show the result prediction.
Wait. What is the first user there and the last user there?
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
difference?
There is same, sir.
Oh, then
This is user
nothing wrong
after.
diagram, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
sorry.
So, if it is an actor, can you draw a stick diagram of actor?
Oh, yeah.
If it is a system, you can put like that.
Oh, okay, sir.
Right, so, and then this is confusing. I thought the first one is a system named user, and then the last one is actually your actor.
Oh,
But maybe just wrong mistake in drawing, but it's okay. But I did not see that because the timeline also different, right? Because the first one and the last one,
yeah.
the timeline
Oh, yes.
is not the same. So, and then you are saying they are actually the same. So that is very confusing.
Okay, sir. Sorry for my fault.
Look at this way. You create a diagram, okay? This diagram as if you actually give to other people, outsourcing. Say you give this diagram to someone in India, can they do your program or not?
Yeah, okay.
If cannot, then something wrong with your
Diagram.
design, your diagram. Okay? Remember, the purpose of making this diagram documentation is to communicate. Remember that. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So when you create this design, this diagram, you need to think, what if I give this to other people? Okay, and then they are the one who's supposed to read this. They create for me the program, and they do that. Okay. In a building, okay? Have you ever visited any building or maybe your own house? There is a blueprint, right?
Yes.
Correct or not? In your own house, there's a blueprint about your building,
The design.
the design. Yes, it must be, otherwise you cannot get the EMB. Okay? Because that is required. Okay? So that is the time that the design similar to the UML. Right? So that exactly the size of the building, that is the size of the room, where the electrical wire will pass through, right? Where the piping of the water will pass through. The same thing with this. Exactly the same. Okay? So based on that design, the worker is the one that follow that design and building it for you, isn't it? The same thing with this. Okay, this UML diagram is the one that you create the design so that someone else can follow that. Do you get the meaning? Okay. Don't just create the diagram for me. That is not so important because I'm not the one who create the program. Someone else will create the program for you. Okay. Oh, go, please. Matthew.
The UML class diagram. Oh. Okay, we will discuss about the software detail into more detail. Yeah. Okay, this is our available data sets. As you can see from the heat map, the data set already contains no correlated variable. This indicates that the data set has no multicollinearity variables. PGA dimensionality reduction has already been applied to all of them. And the dataset proportion has a severely imbalanced class, with legitimate transaction accounting for around 99.8% of all the data, and the fraudulent transaction accounting for 0.2% of all the data. The data includes time transaction, the variable time transaction, which is the elapsed time since the first transaction, V1 until V28, the result of PGA dimensionality reduction, the variable amount, the total transaction, and class, the type of transaction, whether the transaction is legit or fraud transaction. Okay, next. Okay, we use a weighted logistic regression model because the dataset that we have are significantly imbalanced and we are dealing with a binary classification problem. For the legit transaction or in the class it's 0, the class weight parameter is 99.8%. In the class weight parameter in the logistic regression, and for the fraud transaction, it is 0.2%.
Okay,
Okay,
so
next.
if this is an AI class, it's very good. Okay, excellent. But this is an introduction to computer science. Can you go to the system itself?
The system.
Yes.
After
this is
this,
like the
we
detail,
will
right?
discuss. This is the data. So we just go to the system, sir. Okay.
Otherwise, we go to the technical detail that the other group will not understand.
Oh, shall I discuss about the accuracy that we
No
have?
need. So that one is AI. You are in the wrong class.
Oh, okay. let's just go to the system. So
Yes.
skip to the limitation part field
Correct. So
until the limit.
you are too advanced, Matthew.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sir. And this is the limitation.
This is
First of
already
all,
in the AI class. This is you are too advanced. Go. I mean,
oh, okay.
something that benefit your
Wait, I
classmate.
was,
Something that benefit your classmate.
okay. I'll share the code, sir. I'll discuss about the system. Okay. I'll share. Is it visible?
Hmm.
Yes, it's visible. Okay, I will demonstrate about the software and I'll talk about the software more into deep about how the program works. First of all, I'm going to demonstrate how it runs and then I'll discuss about what it does in the back. So this is my main.py file. As you can see, there's a lot of, this is the src folder. This is where all my programs located. And this is the generate model. As you can see, there's an dash dash init.py file, which is assigned for Python to think that generate model is a package in Python file. And also this the network also uses the init.py, same as the generate model. So network is a package, just like the Neville discussed in the first about software structure. So the code here, if name equals file, it will detect whether I run the file or import the file. So if I run the file, this will result it as true and will run all of this. So this is where it's running. Actually, this did nothing and not nothing, but also I use like sleep to make it go. This is like when the user first they will train the model when they first use our software. This will train the model. Now, after this, when the generate model can just ask about the input, there's a problem with this one. The thing is, I haven't figured it out how to take input Excel in the Python. The way I know is just to use the GUI and I just take the file from the Python, but we haven't implemented those. So the one that we did first for the software prototype is we use the available dataset first. So I will discuss more into technical stuff. First of all, when this is true, we are going to generate a class called model that we already imported from this location. So this is the model class located. As you can see the model class in the class diagram, we have several attributes and also several methods that we get. First of all, like we get input. This function will later, it's not now, but later will the purpose is to be able to get the input from the user. And but from now I haven't made the GUI, so I just use this first as a prototype and we will drop the class. This will class column, so we only have the resulted data without the class. And then after that, the get input, we will do some data processing. We just like drop some columns and normal things. And also for the amount variable, we also discovered that the number is just way too big. So we decided to normalize the value from -1 to 1. And then we also drop the time and amount because it's just not important anymore. And after that, after we make the data process and we will predict the output, it will predict the output using the model that we already use this. We use this model as an object, so a user can analyze the model more and more again. And after that, it will show the output just like this, but it will be better in view later. But from now, I haven't made the view yet. It will show output. And also from this model, from this class, it's also imported some modules that we have personally created from the package that we use, which is the generate model. The generate model, this is the model result package. No, module. The model result, it will generate the model, like it will create the model. The purpose of this package, generate model, is to create the machine learning model, just like we talked previously, logistic weighted regression. And after the model finish, the model will be put into a class in the model.py. So user can use that model over and over again. So we make the model as an object. That's the overall how the system works, sir.
Okay. Matthew, can you show me again that a while ago with the loading of the input, for example?
The loading of the input, the model class, sir.
Yeah, model first. Okay, so
This.
really, Kenneth, can you see? This is how you separate the program, okay, and the
Sorry.
data. Okay, so the data is actually in CSP5, right? Can you see it? And then you input that, okay, and then you start to do something based on that data. Okay. Again, there is a problem in here with this data processing, which is not generic enough because this is actually based on that particular data. But that's fine for this case. Huh? And the result is only 2. Fraud is detected or fraud is not detected.
Yes.
So how do you apply this?
What do you mean by apply it, sir?
Meaning, even if I know this is 99% accuracy, for example, how do you apply this in in daily life, for example? Say this is a bank, right? So if they input that data, will this program able to predict something?
Yes. It will predict and it will create a new class. This is creating a class variable at the end. It will put all the result into a class variable to predict whether each row is a fraud or not transaction or legit transaction.
So this is the one that you need to create in the whole system. Okay, what is the system about? When you explain, I don't really understand at first, right? What is this about? Exactly. So they don't. When your friend does not know what you are talking about because you did not show the overall picture. Okay. So when you present, this is the input for you, yeah, feedback, right? When you present, try to think that other people are not technical. Okay, especially try to think how you will present the business model first. That is first. So that the audience can start to understand what you are trying to do. After that, you can go to the technical stuff. Is it possible to improve that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That is useful, right? Because if you start with something very technical, you start with class diagram a while ago. Oh no, what is that about? Okay, you start with something general, something that the business people will understand. Okay. Oh, I'm creating a program that can detect fraud. Example, right? Then you can tell, okay, this is the detail, how I make it. Okay, so you are very good in technical background, but you need to improve in your business model side. Yes, not technical. Billy and Kenneth is the other way around. They are very good in the business concept. You see, they explain very well. Okay, but the program, the technical part is not that good. But it's okay. Both are matching. You know, everyone have their own strength. You understand? That does not mean that if you have weakness in certain thing, that not mean you're weak in everything, right? So that's why you can cooperate to each other. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Good. Continue.
It's done, sir. I already
Yeah.
explained. Should I explain the non-technical?
Yes, you need to next time. Next, you still
Okay,
have two
next
more
time.
rounds, right? You still have two more rounds. Do we have time? Yeah, okay. So go for the next.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
You next group. Four group or three groups? Stephen did not. They have not joined any. Stephen, are you still there? Okay. And he's not here. Okay, go.
So
Oh, sorry. I will close this. Go.
so we're making a self-billing software that specialized for cinema. So next. Here we are going to present the progress report and RUML and also the interface recently. But we still have a lot of things to do. I think like we're
I don't care about it. Go,
Yeah.
go to the big picture first.
okay. Next, it's going to be explained by Tamara.
Okay, so this use case diagram looks really complicated, but before I start diving into the use case diagram, so basically our interface is a billing payment system in which customers can input how many items of food, how many items of drinks they purchase in the cinema. Then the system will calculate the total price for all the items that they have bought. So as you can see here, as the customer first opens the interface, he or she will automatically be given a bill number by the system. Then the next step will be that the customer needs to always input their name and phone number first. Then they can start shopping and inputting quantities for each category. So in here, we have three categories. We're selling food, drinks, and merchandise. Then the customer can then ask the system to total up their price for each category, including the tax. And then they could try to generate the bill. But before generating the bill, customers need to make sure that they have already input their details. Otherwise, if they want to generate the bill without putting any details, the system will present an error message. And if the bill is already generated, the software will ask the customer if they want to save the bill or not. Then the bill here includes the total price, the subtotal price from each category, the tax, customer details, and bill number. And the bill generated can also be saved by the user and printed by the system. They can also have the option to search for the bill number as well as exiting the interface. We can demonstrate it later so that it's easier to visualize.
If you have an interaction,
Okay, we'll go next.
that's clearer, maybe.
Yes. Okay.
There, okay. What happened?
So
Okay. I will close. So input the phone number and then quantity. Okay.
so
So it's basically between one user and the system. Okay.
So by default, like when we enter the system, like the system will generate automatically the bill number, and the customer needs to input the name and their phone number. So after that, they can input their quantity of food, drinks, and merchandise they wanted to buy, and then they can click the total button to total the quantity, and it's going back to the system will give back the total tax of food, drinks, merchandise, and also the price. And it will automatically generate it will generate also the bill for after calculating the tax and also the total price. And then the system will give payment options, like maybe they wanted to pay by credit card or cash or something. And the user will have to choose the payment options. And if we will able to do that, like we will give like QR code if we wanted to pay like nowadays like with GoPay or else. And there's a swipe place to swipe their credit card if they wanted to buy using credit card. And after that, they will get the bill printed for them. And the system will give the options of clear or exit, and they have to choose. That's it.
So and then is there any demo or
Oh, it will be continued by Gia for the class and also.
Okay, so I will explain about the code there. So here we use TK-Inter for import the interface, and so we just have one class Bill app, and then we define each variable which is integer or string, and then it's just the interface. We may skip it. And for the bill area, we also make the bill area. Wait, it's still the button here. So if we input the quantity of soap, for example, of our face cream, it will multiply it with the price, and also then we sum all of the total price. And then it's same for each category. Like this, it's same. So, and then it will produce the bill at the welcome bill section. It will produce the bill number. It automatically generated by random number, and it will input the customer name, phone number, and products. And here is the bill area. If you don't input your name or your phone number, it will produce error. So you have to fill it first. And if you don't purchase anything, it also will show error. Maybe I will go to the software itself. So actually, it's still not finished because we haven't put the payment method. So maybe I can clear it first. Yeah, clear it first. So if we don't fill anything in customer name or phone number, when we generate the bill, it will produce error. But so I have to fill my name with something. So, and when I generate bill, it still cannot be run. And I fill this with like this. And for your information, the bill number is already generated automatically. So I will total it, and it will list the total cosmetic price and cosmetic tax. And I will generate the bill. And then here's an option. Do you want to save the bill? If yes, the bill number number 1126 is saved successfully, and I can open it in my document. Where this is 1126. This is my bill, and if I clear it, yes, I can also search my bill, this one, because my code here, search, find bill here. I connect it to my folder, computer folder, so it can be read. And if we also can clear it by use this code like that, sir. And we also can exit the app.
Excellent. So,
Yes.
okay. I can give you input. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Important input is this. Again, the same with Kenneth a while ago. Okay. The problem is you combine the data and the code together. Can you start to separate? Example.
Yes, we
I give you.
actually do it separately.
No, no, no. I give you example. Can you go up in your code? Here, you see, first, yeah,
Here.
the user interface, you separate another module, okay? And then the computation, you separate into another module, okay? And then the data, you separate again. Okay? In this example, you have total cosmetic, total grocery, total drink, right? What will happen if the client, for example, your client, suddenly have expanded their business? Okay? Instead of just cosmetic and grocery, probably have something else. So because your program is actually linked to the data, not general enough, what will happen is suddenly you need to recode everything because of the change in the requirement. Right? So this kind of code, okay, is very heavily linked to the data, not generic enough. Any change in the data will require change in the code. That is not that good. Can you make it more generic? Okay. Is it possible to make it more generic so that any data, okay, as long as, for example, suddenly there is a request because, oh, your program is very nice, okay? There is another business. It is not cosmetic, not grocery, not drinking. For example, another business. Then you need to recode everything? No, right? You can actually use the same code, but just different data. That is the essence of program. Can you make it so that you just refactor, okay? Meaning how many, this one actually you can create a array, for example, okay, depending on how many type of data that you have. So this is the one that you need to change. And this is all tax, right? So this is, you need to change into taxes. Okay. The same thing with above, yeah? So all that, the name of variable that link it to the data, you must change that into generic so that you can use this code for any other purposes within the scope of limitation, of course. Right? So, example, they are dealing with oil instead of cosmetic. Right? Then you can also use the same code for different business. Is it possible to do that? Say they have groceries, right, for example. Okay, they don't have all of this. Especially you have, see, this is data, right? Maize, Coke, fruity. This is all data. So you need to make it so that you will not have data inside the code. Make it general. Okay. So your data, for example, have a table, okay, right? Comma, comma, comma. Okay. Then you can read that data and then analyze and then create a field. So exactly the same. Okay? And then your GUI also can pop up based on the data that you have, rather than you type everything in the GUI. Make it generic enough. That is my feedback. Okay? So at this point, you are excellent already. But if you want to improve, that is the way to go. Okay. Okay. Any input from other groups? So if you try this, oh, you give this to Kenneth, yeah, so that Kenneth and Billy can also try. Also to Matthew and Nephil, so that they can also try and give you feedback. Okay, that is how you cooperate in the class. Not during the exam, okay? I know you cooperate very well, that even the error is the same. So during this teamwork, during this project, you can make a teamwork. So you can make cooperation between groups as well. Huh? So Kenneth, Newfield, can you learn from this? I think they are much better, right? They can explain the business model and especially the technical also balance. Okay, can you make it this way? Okay, their problem is the same always. This is the beginner's problem. They code the data inside the script. Okay, so this is the problem. That will make your program bounded to the data. It's not generic enough and it's prone to error. Basically, this is prone to error because of that problem. Okay, so thank you very much. We do
Okay,
have,
sir. Thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you. So we have one more group, right? 4 group, right? Wait, are you still there? Stephen, are you
Steve
there?
already left, sir.
Stephen already left.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you are the one who left, Darin.
No, sir. I mean, I asked permission for Stephen to left this meeting.
Oh, who is this telling that? Oh, you are asking permission for Stephen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you ask Stephen to present to me directly in that case, so that we can talk something else. Darin, if you are not, are you staying in Surabaya, Darin?
Yes, sir.
If you stay in Surabaya, can you come to the class offline?
I'll try. If it's possible, I will go there.
Okay. Okay, so I think you have learned a lot. Okay, you already created the UML diagrams and so on. This is very nice. Okay. So where did we discuss about last time? What was the last time that we discussed? Yeah, which UML? State diagram. Yeah, state diagram is okay. So sometimes in the state diagrams, did we make a state diagram already or not? Not yet. Okay, so there is a process view in UML diagram, okay, that is called activity diagram. Okay. That you create this activity diagram based on if you want to have a parallel processing, for example. Yeah? So these are the elements in activities diagram. Can you see it? Okay. So the start and stop activity itself, and then the decision. Okay. And then there is a transition for a parallel processing and synchronization. So I will show you in a while. So the simplest, of course, just a start point here, right? And then each of these nodes represent the action. Okay. So if you want to create the function, the sequence of action, sequence of function, these are the way to do in the activity diagram. Okay. Next, sometimes your action have some kind of decision, right? Branching, okay? Branching of decision. If authorized or if not authorized, do something. So this is the way to do the diagram of the decision. And then, of course, after you branch that, you need to merge, right? So again, you create a diamond, okay, to branch. If the count is 0 or the count is between 0 to less than 1,000. Okay, if the word count is actually more than 1,000, do something. These are the activities, the node. And then after that, display the status. Okay, so these are the decision action based on the condition. Okay? You can create that. Now, sometimes you want to create multiple guard like this. Okay? So, for example, if the item in stock or item out of stock or rush order. So this is a very bad decision. Okay? So a better way is actually to create a multiple guard like this. So item in stock and rush order, item in stock and not rush order, item out of stock and rush order, or item out of stock and rush order. A better way is actually the one that below. Okay, so you create a hierarchy rather than this kind of. Why this is bad? What do you think? In and out is mutually exhaustive, right? But rush order is something else, right? So that's why you need to put it all the possible values. Okay. In here you don't put all possible values. This is bad. Yeah. So when put in yes, in and out, rush order or else, rush order or else. So this one you put all possible values. Is it clear or not? So, and we can also create a transition with fork and join. So what is that? A fork have one incoming and many outgoing. A join have many incoming and one outgoing. I will show you in a moment. So this is an example. Okay. So if you want to create a parallel processing, okay, then this is the way to do. So there is one incoming and then you do at the same time, right? How do you show a parallel processing in a diagram? So you use fork and join. Okay. Clear, yeah? Can you distinguish fork and join and the decision a while ago? That's totally different, right? The decision is an option. Here is action go at the same time. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, one dinner order chicken, the other order fish. The waiter will write down their order and hand it to the chef, and the meal is served only when both dishes have been prepared. So then you put it this way. Yeah. So the waiter will do like this. So this is to explain that these are done in parallel, okay, and then waited until the two of them done, then serve the order, not one by one. Okay, yeah. So sometimes you have a activity of event that waiting, okay, to model a waiting period. Okay, so say waiting for 3 days for the shipping, for example. Okay, then send the bill. Right. So this is the business model activity diagram. Can you see that? Yeah. This is not just a so UML diagram is not just for the program, but also for the business model, also for the system. Okay, you can also create that. Say another example here is a time event for no incoming flow. Okay, but every 1 second update the progress bar. So this time event here will be updated every 1 second. That's the meaning of to update this progress bar. Okay. Again, this is parallel processing, okay, and then the sequence. So sometimes you want to put, okay, prepare motherboard here. Can you see this? This consists of many activity inside. So there is a sub activity. Then you can put this is actually consists of sub diagram. Okay, so diagram can be inside the other diagram. Then you show, so that actually you can create a very complex diagram using this kind of hierarchical system. Okay, so you can also do a sending and receiving signal. So this is the diagram called sending. Okay, say for example, send request for credit card approval. So this is sending to another system, right? And then when you receive the response, then you update the status. Okay. So this kind of shape representing sending signal to another system. Huh? So again, this is when you start the activity by receiving, when you receive the order, then you process that order and then you ship the order. Again, all of these are activities diagram that represent business model. Okay. Sometimes you have what is called interruption. Okay. Say if there is a cancel, okay, if there is a receive cancellation, then of course cancel the order. So how do you know that this is receive cancellation? You use this receiving signal diagram, right? Is it clear or not? The arrow, yeah, showing that this is actually not necessarily, this is an interruption, right? So if this does not happen, so use this arrow, right? So we just tell that this is an interruption. This arrow represents an interruption. So the zigzag arrow to show that this is something that you don't like, but it happened. Okay. Now, in activities diagram, we can also partition into what is called swim line. Okay. So you divide the diagram into columns or row, okay, and then you can group them. depending on the responsible group. This is an example. So again, this is a business model instead of a program. You see, we start here with the first level of support, right? And then you log the complaint, right? Now, if the problem is known, go inform the customer and fix, right? And then close the call. But, okay, if the problem is unknown, that is else here, go to the advanced support, right? To investigate the problem, okay? If the workaround exists, inform the customer of the workaround, go back to the first level of support, right? But if the workaround does not exist, meaning this is new problem, what you will do, you escalate up, right? Investigate the severity of that, right? If this is important, urgent, so you add this change to the database of the critical paths. After that, you inform, okay? If this is not urgent, so you just add change request to the database for the next release. Can you see that? Again, this is a business model, right? Using this business model, you started to see, oh, this is the overall picture. Okay, how they handle the responsibility if there is a complaint. Can you see that? So, is this important or not? Look at this example in the library. Okay, so this swim lane is for the member, and this swim lane is for the librarian, right? So now the member, if they are borrower or they are returner, they want to borrow or they want to return the book, right? So if they are borrower, they will find the book in the shelf. If they just want to return, so wait in queue, right? For the librarian. Both of them will. After they find the book in the shelf, then they wait in queue for the librarian to serve them, right? So look, this is a fork, right? This is a fork, and this is the join, right? Fork and join. So what is this? The librarian will do parallel processing of this system, yeah? To record the return, to put the book back on the shelf, okay? When they do this, and then they can prepare for the next member. Okay? After they do this in parallel, finish, the two of them, then they can do the next member. Okay? The meaning of this parallel is they need to finish the two of them before they can go to the next. Clear or not? Right? So, at least, you know, even if you don't make it, at least you need to know how to read, right? For example, someone give you this kind of diagram, so you know how to read what's the meaning of this, right? Correct or not? Okay, so you can also connect, okay? So you have a step by step here, and then you connect to the next one, so you can put number here, and here is number, and then go to the next step. For example, in another page or another section. Okay. So differently. So the connector is important because how you will put, if your diagram is very big, right? So you need to go to the next page. So you need to put the name. Okay, clearly so that so when they receive the document, okay, you say you are the one who need to program. Someone in another country tell you, okay, I give you a project $1 million, so do it, right? So based on the money that you think, oh, very big, okay, I will do it, right? So when you receive the document, what you will do, you will receive, you will think about what is the meaning of this, right? And if there is some missing number of the connector, for example, you need to ask, okay? Otherwise, when you sign the contract, you are in trouble because they don't give you document anymore. You understand, right? So before you sign any contract, You need to read. Okay, you need to know what you will do. Clear or not? So this is an example of 3 departments. Okay, so a company actually assemble the computer for a very specific customer. Okay, and there are 3 departments involved. Again, this is a business model. I'll show you. Okay, so they receive order. Who will receive the order? Order department, right? And then who assemble? So assemble department will assemble the computer, deliver the computer, and then the accounting department will send the invoice and process the payment. Unless the 2 parallel is done, not only one, okay? The 2 is done, then you say complete order. Otherwise, you don't say that this is already completed. So it's still hanging there. I hope you understand the meaning of this parallel processing. Okay, so is it time? No? So thank you very much then. Next time we can continue this.